Welcome to the Bee Shifter podcast. John Vance and Josh Blum here today. This is the Blue Card Rundown for May 2025, keeping you up to date on everything that's going on with Blue Card and the various classes we're adding and everything else that is happening in Blue Card land. How are you doing today, Josh?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's all good. We've been super busy, which I like. I like being busy. So
Yeah.
had a busy week last week here in Ohio with the big box and the Mayday Workshop. And anytime I'm on the road like that, playing a lot of catch up the next week with emails and phone calls and all of that. But yeah, we're busy. Like we're actually on that verge of booking classes for 2026. We already know we got some interest for, not some, but we have people who told us, we're going to do classes in 2026, and we're just not there putting out dates yet. But yeah, so that's all good. This weather in Cincinnati is up and down. We've had, 85, and now it's 50 and raining and storming today. But I guess it's late spring moving into summer. That's what happens. So
Yeah, it seems like the weather's been all over the place, and also I know a lot of jurisdictions out there have been mitigating local disasters that have been going on. So it's been keeping people busy between some tornadoes. I didn't tell you this, but our friends in Gailton, Colorado, had a 6 or 7 day incident recently where they had a major gas line that was hit, a pipeline that was under pressure that they had to set up, and it literally went from engine one to the EOC because they had command periods and everything for a number of days. So they were busy. I know there's been some other Blue Card departments out there busy with just firework. So it's an eventful spring. A lot of it you don't see in the media right now for other reasons, but we know you guys out there are busy. So we're here to support you with all of that. And hopefully today we'll give you some information on some educational opportunities that you might have, and also as a Blue Card user and instructor, some new tools that we're rolling out and making available for everybody. Hey, those workshops that were there, just going back to that real quick, you did a Mayday workshop and a big box workshop in Ohio, both in the same week. How did those go?
yeah, so we did big box in the Columbus, Ohio area at Whitehall Fire Department. Lots of organizations around that Columbus area represented in that room. As always, Shane Ray, from National Fire Sprinkler Association, delivered the entire first day, and updates, and every time he delivers that first day with us, there's something new. And one of the things that we know, there's been an uptick in fires in sprinklered buildings, but that's just because there's more sprinklered buildings. So it's that data is all relative, and you really have to look at it to see what makes sense. But with that said, the sprinkler systems continue to, work. They are the first water on the fire. So, once a week, they're saying that they're tracking a fire in, a very large distribution center, so not a Lowe's, Walmart, Target, Meijer, something like that. A distribution center. So, 500,000, 1.4 million, 2 million square foot, facility. And, the sprinkler systems are working. So just right here in our backyard, we kind of talked about a little bit, an Amazon distribution center, 1.4 million square feet, several weeks ago, fire, top shelf rack, like 40-foot tall, 3 sprinkler heads contain it. Fire department flows very little water. They actually got called to a fire alarm. Last week, the same fire department and the same building, another fire in that building, top shelf fire, 1 sprinkler head contained it. They got called to a fire alarm drop, get there, upgrade it, followed big box best practice based off of, really what NFPA says. And then, what we teach in our big box class in conjunction with Shane and the National Fire Sprinkler Association about how should we really be dealing with these. But they still end up being there for 4 or 5 hours because of, the risk and letting the sprinkler system run and letting it do its job and getting the smoke out and, all of that. So, like once a week they're seeing those fires, but now every single day, they're getting a fire in one of these retail places, the 100 to 200,000 square foot Target, Walmart, Myers, Home Depot, Lowe's, one of those places. So um, definitely more data on that. And, we're not seeing these places burn down when the system is working properly and when the fire department, gets there and follows best practice and standard. Um, as I always say in our big box stuff, and anytime we're talking about sprinklered buildings, is that sprinkler system was likely flowing while you were still laying in bed. And then when you march that timeline out of the fire started, the sprinkler system went off, fire alarm went off, fire alarm sends a signal, the dispatch center dispatches you, you're getting dispatched to a fire alarm drop. When you really march that out, I mean, you're in like the 17 to 21 minute window of, likely when you're getting there. And it's like, well, with these big facilities flowing, sprinkler heads flowing 250 gallons a minute, even if it was 10 minutes, if the sprinkler system flowed 2,500 gallons of water before you even got there, likely 5,000 or more. And that was from one sprinkler head. So you start compounding that with 2 or 3 or 4 sprinkler heads going off in these places, it's something totally different. So I always like the big box class, always like listening to Shane, and it really connects the dots for people that all of us go to and have probably been to the sprinkler fires and apartment buildings or hotels. And that's a totally different system designed to do a totally different thing, flowing a totally different amount of water. So, understanding it, as Shane says, from homes to high rises to big boxes to mega distribution centers, understanding fire protection systems and, their words of the partners in progress thing, and fire department understanding and utilizing the system is, critically important. So yeah, the big box thing was fantastic. We got lots of comments afterwards, like, been doing this 30 years. I had no idea. And, we got so much footage and so on now of when it goes wrong because the system was shut off, or when the fire department didn't support the system, or when the fire department shut off the system, or, whatever, usually because of, lack of education of how does it really work. When you share all those things, the light bulb really comes on for people. And then when they get to tie it into the system on the second day and go over best practice and how do you assign divisions, and we really need to slow down, and what does it mean to be in that fire control room, and what do the gauges on the riser really mean, and how does that really help us, and connecting with the people on site that understand the system. So yeah, so that's always great. And then the Mayday Workshop, 41 or 42 more people through that. So I've lost track, but I think 5,000 or more people we've put through that 2-day Mayday Workshop. And every single time that we do that, it's a huge success, and people always leave there and they're like, yeah, this is called Mayday management, but the focus has to be Mayday prevention. And, we prevent the Mayday by, doing everything right. And, everybody's got their own opinion of what everything right is, but
it's got to be coordinated. I mean,
yeah,
that's the one thing. And there, you always say that we're in command function number 7 as an organization, and that workshop continues to get tweaked. And you rolled out some newer content this last time, I understand, with the workshop. You're continuing to add some case studies and share
yeah,
new information.
yeah. So, I mean, in that class, we look at line of duty death reports, but, we also look at and talk about events that are accidental success, where, it just worked out. We go to so many of these Mayday workshops, and then the train the trainer on Thursday when we talk about Mayday stuff, and you ask people, how many of you have been involved in a Mayday? And everybody's so reluctant. And then it comes out like, well, I was lost in a house for like 5 minutes, but it all worked out. Or my partner fell through the floor, but it was only up to his waist and I pulled him out. So it was really no big deal. Or, yeah, my buddy fell through the roof, but we were able to pull him out. So it wasn't a big deal. And it's like, well, you accidentally made that work, right? I mean, this is a dangerous blue collar job, but the bottom line is that those are still Mayday events, because if you didn't make it work, then what does that really look like? So we're trying to connect, all of those things and get organizations to look at every event, which we'll talk more about it on here in a little bit, but is the after action reporting system. Like when we use the after action reporting system and we have that opportunity to talk about, did we really do everything right based off of our own SOPs and our own training? And we measure that, we have an opportunity to fix it and hopefully prevent, some sort of an event from happening. So, what most of the time when I ask somebody, yeah, my partner fell through the floor, and we hear that a lot. I mean, last week, we're in Hamilton County, we're in basement land, and we've had more than our fair share, unfortunately, of line of duty deaths from folks falling into the basement. But other people in there who had other events that were not, where they made it work, but they didn't call a Mayday. And then you ask them, well, what was going on before that happened? And what they tell you lines right up with, some of the things that we've learned from the Squirrel's Nest fire and that we've learned from the city of Hamilton fire, right here in our own backyard of, you got to hurry up and go. And, there's not a whole lot of thinking going on. And it's that focus of get water on the fire, which, yeah, that is a big deal, but we still have to think, right? We can't get killed or get hurt between the door and the fire. And when we go through the door and through the floor, all of it's out. And I always say in the Mayday class, it is all about them until it's about us. And I know that there's a whole lot of other, highly respected people all across this nation that have used that line. And that's not an original from me. Other people, that came from other people. And that is the case, right? It is all about them until it's about us. And all you got to do is look at a video of when a Mayday happens and the focus turns to us. And it's like, well, those are the people who, we work with every day at your family. So we shouldn't be surprised of that. And along that path is we better be doing everything right when something goes wrong so that we are prepared to deal with it. So that doesn't mean, balls to the wall, gangbusters, we're going to just go. We have to think, which really lines up with the whole strategic decision-making model, right? Evaluating critical fireground factors, pushing it into the risk management plan. What is our strategy? Developing an incident action plan. Not, I jump straight to my incident action plan, which is just I go. Then you don't have a plan for when something goes wrong. So
I wrote an article that's going to be up on B Shifter, I think, in the next couple of weeks. And we've been reviewing NIOSH reports. We've been posting NIOSH reports on our download center at bshifter.com. And I noticed a lot of line of duty deaths that have recently been reviewed by NIOSH involved young firefighters. And I'm talking 25 to 30 years old. And in the article, I draw a comparison to and talk about how these firefighters are go-getters. They have a lot more education. I think they're the fire nerds, as they call themselves, than my generation of firefighter did. But one of the things that they lack is perspective, and they've never been in command of a fire and having to coordinate all those things. So in no ways do we want to denigrate what these new generation of firefighters are doing, but it's up to us as the incident commanders and leaders on the fire scene to set the stage, to have a scene that is safe, that you're thinking about what could go wrong, you're making plans for that, you're doing a whole size up, you're coordinating activities, you're doing true risk management. Two of these fires that were recently reviewed by NIOSH, which thankfully we're still getting some NIOSH reports, involved defensive fires. So really, why are we taking risk at defensive fires? And one of them was softening the building for nobody who was in the building. So I think it's, it continues to be a problem. It is not problem solved. We have seen some rhetoric out there on, is it time for the risk management model to be retired? Absolutely not. We haven't fixed the problem, people. We still need to educate ourselves and really truly understand what that means. And I think in the Mayday workshop and also in our day 4 in our train the trainer that we do for Blue Card, we talk extensively about that and give our users an understanding of why we're doing the things that we're doing. And it's 100% relative to exactly what's going on out there today, in addition to what's been going on in the fire service for the last 200 years, really.
Yeah, so, just to hit on it briefly, that whole risk management plan thing, so much of that that they're focused on residential settings, right? Houses and apartments. And it's like, we need to have a totally different mindset at a place that has beds than we do when we go to the strip mall, than we do when we go to the grocery store, than any other place that we go that does not have beds in it, right? So but we take this we're kind of like laying this generalized blanket over it. Not some of the folks are laying this generalized blanket over it about we don't need this risk management plan at all. And it's like, well, then how do you really make decisions and differentiate between residential 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody reports somebody's trapped inside the building, versus 2 o'clock in the morning at the local bar that it's closed and there ain't nobody inside, all the lights are out, not a car in the parking lot? We're going to treat it differently. Or any of the events that we could talk about that the place is locked and closed, or commercial buildings at all, for that matter, right? I mean, walking somebody out of Walmart is not a rescue, right? Like, they were headed out. You had to coach them a little bit more to get them out. And I always use the example of people don't die in Walmart. They even stay in there and, video until they're like, oh shit, I got to get out. And then they, get out. But, those places have suppression systems in them for the purpose of saving the building and buying a little bit of time. But that system is going to outperform our capabilities every single day. And it's there for a reason. So
I want to hop back to big box because we do have some openings in a big box workshop, and I've gotten some questions about that. It's in Severance, Colorado, Windsor, Severance, Colorado, which is roughly between Denver and Fort Collins, closer to Fort Collins. Fort Collins is a great place to stay, by the way. My son went to college there, and it's a wonderful community if you're looking to go to Colorado for the big box workshop. But that's going to be July 7th and 8th, and you can go to B-Shifter to sign up for it. But that's our 2-day big box workshop. Shane Ray will be there. The Colorado fire departments are very progressive, so it's a good group of people you'll be training with while you're out there. And if you need any hotel recommendations for the Fort Collins area, look me up, because it's a great area to visit, especially during the summertime, because there's a lot of hiking and some other things to do if you're looking to, maybe take a couple days off before or after that workshop, because it would be a good destination. So that's coming again, July 7th and 8th to Windsor, Severance, Colorado, big box workshop.
Yeah, and that's the only big box class we have left for the year with any open seats in it. So I think there's 18 or 19 open seats left in it. But yeah, that's until 2026. That's the only seats available for any big box classes. So
how's the conference coming? We have the Hazard Zone Conference coming up end of September, beginning of October, right outside Cincinnati, Ohio, Sharonville Convention Center. We're back again. What is happening with that?
Yeah, so through year 3 of bringing the conference back, we got quite a lineup again this year of general session presenters with Dan from FSRI and Shane again giving us an update on what they've been doing and what they've been burning. Let me back up for a minute. Dan's got I think all of them have new stuff that they're delivering this year, so it's not a repeat of anything else that they've done. So both those general sessions, and then after he hasn't presented at the conference for several years, John Cirillo, Captain of Rescue 1 at FDNY, is going to be back presenting a general session and a breakout session at the conference this year, with some focus on fire growth, what we know now, some fire phenomenon stuff, and then some wind-driven fire pieces, lessons learned. He is he's the man on that when it comes to wind-driven fire. So happy to have him back at the conference. And then I think we're at 26 unique different breakout sessions that we'll have. So four general sessions, and then 23 different breakout sessions. And then on the front end of that, we're doing our CERT lab again that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the 29th, 30th, and the 1st, we got we're offering the CERT lab. So that'll be delivered by lead blue card instructors. So pre-conference workshop piece. And then on the 30th and the 1st, we're doing a safety train the trainer. We've never done that before. We've always just delivered them on the road when somebody actually, buys that class. And, when they buy that class, they get the prop, all the curriculum, the support, 2 days of training, classroom, and then on the second day, they exercise actually using the prop. But in this case, you come to the 2-day safety train the trainer pre-conference workshop. It's the same price as all of our other pre-conference stuff, $345. When you leave there, you have all the curriculum package. So they're going to do everything except for you're not going to leave with the prop. So we're doing this so that people could get the classroom portion, and then we would not come on site at your location then and do the training because you got it there at the conference, and then you buy the prop for about 60% of the cost of what it is to do the whole class. So that's starting to fill up. We're getting some interest in that. Some organizations just adding instructors, for their safety prop, and maybe even just getting access to that curriculum, the safety curriculum, which is I don't know, when we've really gone through it, it's probably 24 hours of material that you could get through, or you could use. So it's not made to be delivered all together. It's really, made to be broken up. And then we have John, you mentioned it. So we got Tim Schauble, Kevin Alexander doing that from Engine 1 to the EOC. So, every year we have a couple of our fire departments that reach out to us and say, hey, we had this event that, Engine 1 got there, and then this thing escalated, and, some of them turned into a Type 1 event. So from Engine 1 to a federal, Type 1 event. So like really that 2-day workshop is about what does that really look like? So, it all has to start. That first 5 minutes is critical. And how Engine 1 builds it out is really, helps on how it's going to end. So, they're going to get through, the front end piece, division ops, building out your command post, and then connecting to the EOC and what that really looks like. So that'll be we're looking forward to delivering that. We've never really delivered that workshop, in this manner. We've delivered some similar classes on the road to some organizations about, expanding and getting into their command band and those kind of things. But so we're looking forward to that. The critical thinking and decision-making class, which is the focus on the strategic decision-making model, that class is filling up very quickly. So we've delivered that many, many times, and every time people are like, oh yeah, there's so much to think about, right? Like the whole decision-making piece, and that one slide, I think you could spend a week talking about critical fireground factors, pushing it into the risk management plan, strategy, incident action plan, all of that. So that's filling up. And then the Mayday Workshop. So last year we had 100 and some people, I think, in the Mayday Workshop. We started out just like we did this year. There's 40 seats available, and we're going to keep it at 40 seats because we just want to have a little bit more one-on-one with everybody participating. So the Mayday Workshop is also, filling up pretty quickly. So the front end piece of the workshops on, CERT Lab Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the regular workshops Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the conference Thursday and Friday. So we're looking forward to it. It is filling up. People are registering. I think we're about 4 months away, and I think there's a couple hundred seats maybe left. And the locals around here haven't really jumped on it yet, because they don't have to worry about a hotel and all of that. And we sent it out, I think, last week or the week before. Our hotel room block is filling up very quickly. So if you're traveling, you want to take advantage of that hotel room block, I would get your registration going as soon as possible.
So bshifter.com again. If you want to combine the workshops and the conference, it's $830. Conference only is $485. Workshops are $345. So it's a great bundle. It is a lot of training for what we're offering for the dollar. So it's a great value to get signed up. Love to see everyone in Cincinnati, especially the Blue Card users out there. And if you haven't been to a conference either before or in a while, come on out and see us and get refreshed on what's going on Blue Card and Command.
And we always tell everybody, John, anybody who signs up for the conference gets a free transferable online account. So, you know, the conference is $485, but if your fire department was going to buy any online accounts this year at $385, really the conference is going to cost you $100 for registration, because when you sign up for the conference, you're going to get a transferable free online account. So, yeah, that makes that whole value go even further, especially for all of you who are, you know, going to be putting additional people online, or even if you're just putting one person online. So,
all right, see you in Cincinnati. Go to the link there at the bshifter.com on the top, and it'll give you all the information. We are about a month away from the first ARFF Train the Trainer. We've developed an ARFF program for Blue Card. Is that full yet? How many seats do we have left? Do people still have an opportunity to get in if they're interested in the ARFF Train the Trainer?
Yeah, I think while we've been on here, somebody else signed up. So I think there's only 2 seats left. So that Train the Trainer's had 24 open seats. This is the first one that we're doing. That curriculum's been in the development for several years. It was built out by subject matter experts that worked in the military, you know, ARFF arena, as well as those who worked in regional, you know, airport like type response, and those who worked at very large, you know, international airports, all of them, you know, working through the system of multiple different levels, from company officers all the way through to, you know, the chief at the airport. So there's a couple seats left in that. It did fill, when we posted it, it filled up very quickly. The ARFF working group, we sent it out to that, and as soon as we sent that out, it was they were piling onto it. So it's been interesting to me, you know, understanding and listening to a little bit of what goes on in, you know, the airline industry, and studying, you know, some of that decision making. It was very interesting that in the ARFF arena, that there wasn't a lot of command training stuff offered. You know, a lot of task level training, a lot of required task level training, a lot of, you know, a lot of you have to do this annually and meet these requirements. But really, just like the fire department, I guess, you know, when it came to, you know, the command part of it, not a lot of offerings out there, which I'm sure is why, you know, people are jumping on it. So we got everybody in the class, from some military folks to several people from, you know, some international airports, you know, across the country, and then everything in between. You know, the people who have the city municipal airport to the regional airport. You know, those that get 2 people and 2 trucks to, you know, they got 45 people on duty, and, you know, they're going to get an entire response, you know, on the international level on a large international airport. So there are a couple seats left. There's still time. You can register for that. If you're looking for more information on the ARFF program, just reach out to really any of us, and we'll get you in contact with the right people. Josh at bshifter.com. If you just want to reach out to me, I'll get you connected, or Chris Stewart, Chris at bshifter.com. If you're looking for information, we are working on scheduling some fall dates right now for another ARFF trainer in Phoenix. And then starting in 2026, we are going to deliver the ARFF Train the Trainer program on the road. So it'll be regionalized. You know, no one fire department is going to, you know, likely fill and take every seat in the Train the Trainer, but we'll likely end up doing a Train the Trainer in the, you know, the Northeast, the Southeast, and then likely in the Northwest, and then Maybe the one in the south will probably maybe just continue to be in Phoenix. But if you're looking into the ARFF program, just reach out to us, and we can get you any information that you might be looking for about the program.
June 23rd through 25th at the Alan V. Bernasini Command Training Center in Phoenix. That'll be a great class. Looking forward to that. The AAR is continuing to really get a lot of action. We added the after action review module this year. It's a feature that's only available to Blue Card instructors. However, you can share the information from that. Any news on the AAR and how that's going and some of the new features that have been added?
Yeah, so the after action reporting system, that's another one of those things. Again, been several years in the making, and we built it with all of the input from all of the users out there. What did they want? What did they need? And an AAR, people use everything from a PowerPoint to it's on a piece of paper to we're going to draw it up here on the whiteboard, and that's all fantastic. But what we have built is a system to be able to measure how well you're really doing based on your SOPs and your training that all align with best practice, and then to be able to have that data for multiple events and look across all of that data within your organization to figure out, well, what does this really mean and where can we improve? We've all been in the fire service long enough that you go to an after action reporting session or an incident review, and it's like, yeah, we sit there and hammer on it, and then you walk out and it's like, well, what are we going to do about that? And nothing ever comes of it. So part of this whole thing is from the tailboard to doing a full scale after action report, we're giving you all of those tools. And then, a critical important piece of it is all of the data collection capability on the back end of it that helps point you towards, as an organization or as a region, where do we need to work? Like, where should we provide the most training? And as one of our lead instructors, Eric Phillips, always says, he said, I'm tired of going to training and training on the same old thing that we do okay on or that we do good on, but we suck at these other things and we don't train on it. And a lot of it's because we just haven't identified as an organization that we need to improve there. It's like the training schedule every year is the same thing. In January, you do this. In February, you do that. In March, you do this. And when it comes to command training, why do we keep running, residential simulations when when we plug it into the after action report, our working fire events, and we're getting 85 to 100%. But when we look at commercial response, we get a 60%. And when we look further at commercial response, the details of it, where are we not doing so good? What's the difference in the commercial response of how we evaluated the incidents? And, that's where we should focus our attention. And really, you can break it all the way down to a piece that we've talked about in that 4-part webinar series, John, that I'd like for you to mention here, how they would get to that, because it's still available on, steps 1 through 4, basically 4-part series of a webinar on what is the after action reporting about and how do you use it. Initial radio report. So if your initial radio report, you're getting a 60%, well, within the tool and the data collection, you can dive into it further. So, if you got a 90% everywhere, but you got a 40% in strategy, it's going to drive your score way down. Well, when organizations can look and say, well, we got 50 fires in here currently, and our average score for strategy is 50%. Well, that's what we need to work on. We don't need to work on building size and incident action planning and risk management plan necessarily as much, but we got to focus on the strategy. Like, why are we not saying strategy? Do people not know what it means? Do they not understand the importance of it? It can't be, oh, I'm not saying offensive because I told you we were going inside. And it's like, you're missing the whole point. That there's a whole another piece connected to it. So the after action reporting system, nothing like it. Everybody who's using it is is making strides forward, and they're actually showing improvement, because when you can show where you need to improve, people want to do better. So when they see that, they're like, oh yeah, I want to work on that because I want to do better. So, Lincoln, Nebraska, putting in quite a few fires, and they're focusing their training, their command training around, the data and what they need to work on. So, right now we're getting, quite a bit of traction, with it. A lot of organizations are using it. It was a tool that we built as an added value for instructors so that they can really help evaluate their organization and measure their operational success, really, without the success being, well, nobody got hurt and the building didn't burn down. No, let's really look at it and see where can we do better, because you have to be doing everything right when something goes wrong.
Right. So I'll add all those webinars to our show notes. There was a 4-part series that we had here at the beginning of the year with Eric Phillips and the whole gang, talking about how to input, how to mine the data, how to make a difference in your organization using this tool. It is, once again, added value, free for Blue Card instructors if you haven't explored it yet. And there's a lot of organizations, because every month I'm doing a train the trainer that they are Blue Card users. They've been online for a long time. They didn't even know it was there. So we bring it up here so we continue to spread the word on it. We want you to use it because it is an excellent tool for continuous improvement. Speaking of tutorial, we rolled out a new tutorial this week on the YouTube channel. It is also available in the B-Shifter Buck Slip this week if you subscribe to that. And that is talking about a new tool that we added for instructors on reports. Tell us about that new tool on generating reports for Blue Card departments.
Yeah, so for Blue Card instructors, we want you to spend more time, developing and providing training, and not have to spend as much time, on the administrative end. And we all understand that is a struggle, right? All of the reporting we have to do, all of the data entry we got to do, all the tracking we got to do, all of that. So our IT department, along with our staff, has built out a data export area. So under the instructor tools on the left side of your screen as an instructor, you go to that data export. And when you click into that, you can export all of the data, anything and everything you might want to know about your organization and the students' progress on everything from certification to recertification to assigned CEs or CEs that they've completed, not completed, how many hours they still need to complete. It really just gives you kind of a roadmap, I guess, if you will, of where's your organization in that 3-year cycle, for renewal. And then on the front end, where's your organization on initial certification.
Well, that is again in the show notes. I'll link that so you can get the tutorial. It's 4 minutes and 20 seconds. You'll learn how to use it. You'll be generating reports in no time. There are still the options to export to a PDF as well. So there's tools for you to get those reports to the people that you need them to. A lot of times the Blue Card admin for the department isn't necessarily the training officer. And what I do at my home department is I'll generate the report, make it a PDF, send it to the training officer. So then that training officer knows exactly where everybody stands as far as their renewals, how many hours are needed. And it also helps that person plan for the next training cycle for us. So it's a great tool. I love having it, and it really takes no time to generate those reports.
On that topic, John, I just want to throw this out there. So as an organization, as an instructor, as a student, don't get frustrated with trying to figure something out on your own. Pick the phone up. I mean, I think our business is all about customer service, right? That's what the fire chief himself was all about, and that's what we continue to try to be about. So, pick the phone up. And if you call the office if they don't have the answer, they're going to get you in contact with somebody. And within 24 hours or less, Monday through Friday, I'm going to tell you within 6 or 8 hours, we're likely going to have an answer back to you. Or if you have a suggestion, the same thing, just reach out. So, don't spend 10 minutes doing something you can't figure out. Pick the phone up and somebody on the other end is going to answer it and can probably walk you right through it and save you time. And that just, for me, that just goes back to, the training officers, program managers, all of that. We want you spending time with your people and training people. We want that back end piece to be as easy as it could possibly be. So,
speaking of the chief and customer service, the Silverbacks are ready to release a new module that's coming out in the next couple of weeks. And that is another added value. What do we have coming up as far as the new module goes in the Silverback Leadership Series?
Yeah, so that group continues to move forward and make sure that they're putting out, the best thing that they can put out, and collaborate with, multiple people, and make sure that we're, sending the message that the fire chief would want us to send, and trying to put together a program that helps everybody and makes sense, to everybody. So that the whole leadership piece, and I think how do you run your fire department, and connecting all those dots. So look for that next module to be posted within the next 2 weeks, and then before the conference we will have 4 or 5 modules posted. And like John said, that's added value now. It's just in the CE section, but when all 8 modules are complete, it will become a program of its own, and they'll end up when you go through those 8 modules, they'll end up connecting then with a 2-day workshop in person on the back end for organizations that choose to do that. And really the reference books for that are, Fire Command 3,
customer service for the fire
department customer service, anatomy and physiology, books that exist, but it's connecting all of it together, right? So as so many people out there say, and maybe Mike Dugan was the original guy on it from FDNY, but whatever it looks like in your firehouse is what it's going to look like on the street. So you got shitty leadership in the firehouse, it's not going to work out for you in the street either. They don't just flip a switch. So the Silverback leadership thing, I think, connects all of that, but it really focuses on us delivering the work, which is the service that the community pays for us to provide.
We have some train the trainers that have been announced in the last couple of weeks. They're filling up fast. Bay County, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Winston-Salem, as well as the fall train the trainers at the AVB-CTC. How are those going? Any other trainers, or do you think we're about filled up for the year here as far as our calendar goes?
Yeah, so we're booking classes. We have some availability in November and December, but between now and then we are pretty much so at capacity. I think I was looking at it before we jumped on here. We have like 3 or 4 weeks where we're delivering 3 trainers in the same week. So in October, right after the conference, we're doing 6 trainers, 6 1-week-long train the trainers in October, and I think it's the 3rd week in October where we have 3 of them at the same week. So when I say we're at capacity, we can only do so much work, and it's not that we're can't work every week, because we are working every single week. We have something everywhere every week, but it's the depth part of how many classes can we deliver in the same week. So yeah, if you're looking to do a workshop or a trainer yet this year, really we're looking at November and December. If you absolutely positively have to do something because of a budget constraint or spending the money before, we can probably fit something in here and there, but our availability for program delivery is that window's getting smaller and smaller. So,
I mentioned those other ones. I also wanted to mention we're in Plymouth, Minnesota, September 15th through the 19th. And the class in September at the AVBCTC is already filling up too. So hop on it if you're going to register. And a lot of these classes that I'm involved in, it's the second or third generation of instructors for an organization. So think about the planning ahead, because a lot of times what we're seeing in the classes is, okay, Bob retired. He was in charge of our blue card program. Then we realized we needed to get another trainer. So there wasn't really a cohesive handoff between that retiring trainer and the new trainer or trainers. So think ahead a little bit, do your succession planning, get the new folks on board so there's that clean handoff. And there's plenty of opportunities, although they are filling up at the AVBCTC and also on the road in various regions throughout the country. I mean, I can't believe how we're doing in Florida right now. We've got a number of classes coming to Florida, both this summer and fall. So a lot of stuff going on with Train the Trainers. All right, Josh, you have anything else for us before we wrap it?
I think that's it. I think it's good.
All right. Thank you very much. It was good to talk to you today. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the Blue Card Rundown on the B Shifter podcast. We'll talk to you next time.